Shalom, shalom to all. It's a great time to be here, exciting. We are bringing in the Hebrew calendar, the Enoch calendar of 2026. And we begin the year with Rosh Chodesh, which is the head of the month, also known as heads of the seasons. There are 4 in a year. First one of the year is Rosh Chodesh of Nisan. This year, Rosh Chodesh begins Wednesday, March 4th at evening. Now, you're allowed to work, you're allowed to do all those things. There's no commandment that we keep it as a Shabbat or anything like that. It's a day to recognize and to remember. And also, it reminds us that spring feasts are coming. It also means time to do some spring cleaning or Pesach and Feast of Unleavened Bread cleaning. And what that means, not only are we looking in our homes, but also within ourselves to remove any leavening. We need to make sure that we remove any leavening from our house, such as yeast, or to your own discretion, leavening agents such as baking soda or baking powder, things that have citric acid in them. And when it comes to baking soda and baking powder, they both cause your product or whatever you're making to rise. The difference is baking soda just acts the quickest out of the yeast or the baking powder, while baking powder is faster than yeast, but it also contains some baking soda and some other type of acid or citric acid within it. To your own discretion, feel free to remove those things out of your home, anything that you consume or anything that you might use in your toiletries or cleaning products. Once you remove all the chametz out your house, Pesach is coming in. And this year, the Pesach, it is a meal, but it begins Wednesday, March 18th. For this meal, on your Seder plate, you should have lamb, matzah, bitter herbs, and some wine. If you have some charoset, that's great. But make sure you have the lamb, the matzah, the bitter herbs, and the wine. That is the commandment. Pesach also is the first day of unleavened bread, which begins that same night and ends Thursday, March 19th. And this is a day that you are to come together, if you can, with those who want to keep this feast. And you are not allowed to work or do any business. You are allowed to cook. You are allowed to light a candle, things like that. But no working, no business, no money. This feast is a 7-day long feast. Last day, 7th day of unleavened bread. It begins Tuesday, March 24th at evening and ends Wednesday, March 25th at evening. This day, you also want to treat it as you did the first day of unleavened bread. That means no working, no business, no money, but you are allowed to cook, you are allowed to light a candle. And outside of Shabbat and those 2 days, you can work. You can do what you need to do or what you would normally be doing on that Sunday and that Monday and that previous Friday, even though you're preparing for Shabbat. Just remember, no working on those days. Now, another thing to remember is the counting of the Omer. This is important. There are 2 ways to count the Omer, and one of them is to begin with the first Sunday after Pesach, which would be Sunday, March 22nd. Starting with that would be day 1, and you count 50 days. That leads us all the way into Shavuot on May 9th/May 10th. The second way to count the Omer is to count 7 Shabbats, starting with the first Shabbat after the Feast of Unleavened Bread has ended. This begins on March 27th, Friday at evening, to March 28th, Saturday. That would be counted as the first Shabbat. And from there you count 6 more. And on the 7th Shabbat, know that the next feast day that follows is Shavuot, which is May 9th to May 10th. Next thing, we have Shavuot, which this year falls in May, begins Saturday, May 9th at evening, right after Shabbat, and ends Sunday, May 10th at evening. This day also, you should not be doing work, business, handling money, anything like that. But you are allowed to cook and light a candle. And if you can, please gather with those who want to keep this commandment, keep this feast day as Yah has wanted us to, and review the commandments. Learn them, talk about them, have some understanding about them, going over Yah's law. Outside of that, those are our spring feasts of 2026. To all I say, happy cleaning and Chag Sameach.